This is Lookup Channel. Today we are covering the following topics on the war in Ukraine. It's the 576th day of the war. No attacks for Ukraine yet. Sweden sends 10 Stridsvagn 122 tanks to the battlefield. First cargo ship bypassed Russia's blockade in the Black Sea. A new U.S. military aid package worth $325 million, but without attacks. This decision was announced today by U.S. President Joe Biden. New military aid package that includes significant air defense assets, additional munitions for HIMARS and a range of other weapons.
Today, I approve the next tranche of U.S. security assistance to Ukraine, including more artillery, more ammunition, more anti-tank weapons, and next week, the first U.S. Abrams tanks will be delivered to Ukraine. We also focused on strengthening Ukraine's air defense capabilities to protect the critical infrastructure that provides heat and light during the coldest and darkest days of the year.
According to the U.S. President, these capabilities will help Ukraine strengthen its defenses ahead of a winter full of new Russian attacks on Ukrainian critical infrastructure. At the same time, Joe Biden assured that America intends to continue to support Ukraine, which is fighting back against Russian troops. According to the National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, the USA is not yet ready to announce the transfer of ATACMS ballistic missiles to Ukraine, but they do not rule it out in the future. Ukraine receives 10 Stridsvagn 122 tanks with trained crews from Sweden. According to the Ministry of Defense of the Kingdom, 10 Stridsvagn 122 tanks are already in Ukraine with a trained crew. The commander of operations of the Ground Forces Headquarters, Mats Ludwig, said, "We gave them everything we could, excellent equipment and good knowledge. We wish them success in liberating their country." It is noted that the decision to transfer the tanks was made at the end of February this year within the framework of the so-called Tank Coalition. At the same time, it was stated that Sweden was ready to donate 10% of the tanks in the kingdom's army to Ukraine. There are more than 600 such armored tanks. The TV channel Discovery named it the best tank in the world. U.S. Defense Minister Lloyd Austin also confirmed the intention to transfer M1 Abrams battle tanks to Ukraine. According to him, they will be transported to Ukraine in the near future. The meeting between the head of the U.S. defense and Ukrainian delegation headed by Volodymyr Zelensky took place yesterday, as part of the visit of the President of Ukraine to the Pentagon. First cargo ship bypassed Russia's blockade in the Black Sea. The cargo ship, Resilient Africa, arrived off Turkey's Bosphorus Strait on September 21st. This is the first vessel loaded with grain from Ukraine to sail in and out of the Black Sea using a temporary corridor. After Moscow pulled out of the grain deal, Kyiv encouraged shipping lines to use what it described as a safe corridor within range of its coastal artillery and hugging the coasts of Romania and Bulgaria, both NATO members. The ship left the Ukrainian port of Chornomorsk this week with 3,000 metric tons of grain. Ukraine last month announced a humanitarian corridor to release ships bound for African and Asian markets, and to circumvent a de facto blockade after Russia abandoned a deal this summer that had guaranteed its exports during the war. On September 19, the President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky gave a speech at the UN General Assembly in New York. He declared that Russia uses many other means as weapons, which are used not only against Ukraine, but also against other countries. As an example, he named food supplies, which affect many countries. Zelensky claims that Ukraine will never give up its role as a guarantor of global food security. These were the latest news on the war in Ukraine. Please subscribe to stay updated on the recent events.